Hi, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk It. In this episode, we're going to discuss about the concept of death and dying. And today we have two guests. We have
Pop, my name is Pop. I'm from Senegal. I'm studying my master's in international studies at the Department of International Relations at Florida International University.
all right, thank you, Pap, for joining us. And we have
Hi, my name is Elizabeth and I'm from Nigeria. I work currently as an admissions hospice nurse.
thank you, Elizabeth, for joining us.
My
Okay,
pleasure.
Elizabeth is a hospice nurse and she's from Nigeria. And Pap is a graduate student, Department of International Relations. He's from Senegal. And outside of their professional lives, I would like to bring to you their religious beliefs. Elizabeth is a Christian, while Pap is a Muslim. Okay, so let's just hit it. I'll start from Elizabeth. From your own personal point of view, how can you describe death?
Um, wow. I don't think I've ever had to define death, but if I were to define death as in physical death, that would be, the cessation of life. Life as we define it, we have, measures as to how we measure life. There is the oxygen that we breathe in, so we measure that. We have heartbeats, we have function of the brain. So these are things that we can, measure. And once we see a cessation of that, we can actively say this person is dead. So that's how I would define physical death.
Okay, thank you, Elizabeth. Pap, your own definition of death, does it align with what Elizabeth just said?
Yes, it does, but I wish I was as technical as she is because she's a nurse, so it helps.
Okay.
But yeah, pretty much. But I'll put it twofold. The first fold is so we believe in spirit and soul. That's what I believe in. That's what I believe in.
Okay.
And also, when death happens, like she said, all your functions cease, but then your soul is uplifted or is wandering around. When it's out of your body, that's when death happens. So your body is still, it doesn't move, you get buried, things like that.
Okay.
But I feel like when death happens, it's something else that comes after that.
Something else that comes after that.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll still come back to the something else that comes after that. But I want to hear from Elizabeth because I know that before you became a nurse and working at the hospice, your perception of death may have been different from what you are seeing now at work. Is that true or?
Um, well, not really, but also yes. I think prior to me working in hospice, I never thought about quality of life or dignity when dying. As a nurse working bedside, especially in settings like med surge, step down ICU, my goal was to save the person's life. So it didn't really matter how we saved the life. We just wanted to save this person's life. So if that means, later on you deal with the consequences of what we did, like maybe CPR, aggressive CPR, or break ribs, and you have to deal with that. Maybe it even causes like some sort of infection later on. At that point, we just want to make sure you're, like as I said, those measures that we're thinking about, so we want to make sure that they're still on. But now at hospice, there's more about like thinking about what quality of life should look like, and that also interprets how you want to die. Just thinking about that and just embracing it, that it is a part of life. We're all living cycles, and at some point, especially when you have a terminal illness, that's something that you really do have to think about. And there are people who still want to pursue like life and want to give it all they have. But at some point you do have to think about, do you really want to keep trying, or do you want to just embrace what this next step of life is, and still have the dignity and the quality of life that you deserve even till the end.
Okay, thank you for that explanation into the quality of life before one gives up the spirit. But from the religious point of view, what does Islam, right?
Yeah.
Islam teach about death?
Okay, so first of all, it says in a few verses in the Quran, it says that every soul shall taste death.
Every soul shall taste death?
Every soul shall taste death. Everything that's living will eventually die at one point. So that's a given. And so it's all based on faith. It really is faith. Because
Mm.
we've never seen somebody die, come back to life, tell us how
Yes,
death
how
really
it
is.
is.
Yeah, you know. So it's all based on faith. And but I also believe that even if you're not faith, if you don't have faith, you still have to believe in death. Because everybody we know has died at some point. Like nobody has lived forever.
Yeah,
So
but how about what is it explained about everybody will taste death? But how about after death? Does it say what happens
yes, oh
after
yeah, in
death?
details. It's very detailed. So all right, so once you die, like I said, I was premising earlier, you get your soul. Your soul is wandering around until you get buried. So
Until
once
you get
buried,
buried.
yeah.
Okay.
So once your loved ones bury you, and then when they walk away, then you have a trial.
A
You trial
trial.
inside your coffin or whatever, and it's angels trying you, asking you questions and like how you used to live in this life, the
Mm,
good things you used to do, the bad things you used to do.
mm.
So those are the early trials, but afterwards, you'll be resurrected during the day of judgment. I think you guys, everybody believes in that, right?
Similar.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the day of judgment, you'll be resurrected, and you'll be judged for, of course, the good things you did and the bad things you did.
Okay. And
Right.
Elizabeth, what is the similarity with Christianity belief?
I think there are a couple of similarities. I will say, from the Christian perspective, when you die, we believe that you're dead. First of all, when you asked me about death, if you notice, I kept saying physical
Physical
death,
death.
because we
Yes.
have
Yeah.
the physical death and we also have the spiritual death. I'm not gonna go all the way into the spiritual death, but when one physically dies, you give up a ghost. The spirit leaves, just in compliance with what you said,
Yeah.
but we don't really see that judgment happen till the resurrection, when everyone is called to account for their actions. So I think that's the little bit of difference in our faith. I don't really, to be honest, know the full extent, so I don't want to say the wrong thing. But yeah, we do know that there will be judgment, and it's the spirit that gets judged, not the physical body. We believe that we're made from dust, and to dust we shall return,
Yeah.
and everyone will definitely experience
Right.
death. No one will live forever, but we believe that after that, then your spirit lives, whether there'll be eternal damnation or eternal life, as we call it. Yeah.
Okay. From the two religious perspective, I can see that there is similarity in terms of death, dying, judgment, and the things that you have done on earth, you'll be judged accordingly, right? But according to there is a verse that I have seen in the Bible. Let me say Ecclesiastes 9:5.
Mm-hmm.
It says that all living know that they will die, but the dead know nothing. Like they have no memory, they have no business whatsoever with anything under the sun. So, and some people have come to say that death is peaceful. So, do you think that with the religious perspective now, do you think that death is peaceful?
Uh, I don't know. She said something about terminal condition. If
Yeah.
you're suffering a lot and then going through a lot of things, and you have faith that you did good things and you repented, so you might be living forever in heaven, whatever. It might be a relief. It
Uh,
might be a relief. I don't know,
okay.
because if you really believe that this is just a temporary life, it's not like eternal, and that you're gonna die,
Mm,
and then you might have even a better life somewhere else with your soul, with your spirit.
mm.
Yeah, you might be relieved.
Yeah.
Elizabeth?
I think the concept can be very subjective, like you said. I personally am not really afraid of death or see it as a big deal. I just see it
Mm.
as this is a step
It's a
everybody
step,
still
yeah.
has to go through. So whether it's based on like a good circumstance, like a relief from illness, or even like and unforeseen death, even the children that die. And, there's so many questions that we ask, like, why this, why that? I just see these things as like normal occurrences. Like you said in the book of Ecclesiastes, there's a time for everything. So the term peaceful, it might seem peaceful to you, it may not seem peaceful to the other person. I know people who are 90 something years old and they're ready to go, and their loved one is like, no, we still want you for so many more years. So like, will they see it as peaceful death? I don't know. So it's very subjective really, but I just see it as it's a natural occurrence. So
Okay, so when I talk about death being peaceful, I'm trying to refer to the fact that some people believe that because the world is full of troubles, like you keep on facing one trouble from another, there is no end to it, even when you are suffering from a sickness. But once death comes, although you may not want to die, but once you are dead, it's like everything goes away, everything go away, and like everything go away. So from the Bible verse that I say that the dead has no memory, so having no memory, don't you think that you will be peaceful because you have nothing to worry you about?
So the death have no memory, meaning once you die, like you have no memory
You have no memory
world.
of this world.
Okay. Yeah, I guess.
Do you? Or what do you have to say about
If you
that?
don't have any memories, like you're starting over. You're starting over a new.
You're not even starting over.
So what do you just?
it's just over.
It's just over.
It's just over. It's just like once you are dead, everything is over. Like you go into this space of nothingness. Like there's nothing else. Like you're not even existing.
You're just there.
Yeah, Elizabeth, what do you think?
I think this is where, we now have diverse ways of thinking. And for me personally, I don't see death as the end of issues, or like, for me, a problem will still be there whether the person is there or not, and that problem will still exist and still needs to be solved. So
No.
yeah.
You mean a problem on earth? Or
Yes.
a problem where the person is?
A problem on earth
Yes.
will
Okay.
still exist.
Okay.
So,
Yes. Okay.
let me just give an example. When I was in college, I had a lot of like difficulties, and the thoughts would come that, hey, if I just end it right now, I wouldn't have any of those difficulties anymore. However, the thing is, I may not have those difficulties anymore, but my family is left to deal with it. So really, it takes the person out of the equation, but like the problem still exists and still needs to be solved. So,
Yes. So from your own description of dying and the problem remaining on earth, because when we talk about peaceful, we're not taking it in aspect of people that are still alive, but for the person that is dead, because you are now void of problems. Your house rent is no longer disturbing you. Your car insurance is no longer disturbing you. So you are peaceful. But for the people that are still living on earth, I think they are the ones.
Yeah, and that's why, like, for me, and I have the utmost, like I say, I have the most sympathy for people who really think that's the only option available. I do like to push, the narrative that is not the answer. It may look like it, that once you take yourself out, like everything is going to be perfect because you're no longer there to really deal with all these situations. Let's also bring back that spiritual aspect where we say that we're judged for our actions, and everything that we do on earth has a consequence. I don't know what that would look like. Nobody has ever been judged yet. Until they die, they wouldn't know what that looks like. So some may argue that it may even be selfish to now push these problems onto other people while you take the easy way out. So there are different ways to think about death, and I'm just not with this thought or the school of thoughts that says dying solves the problem and gives the person peace of mind. Because if we think about it, if the person does really think about the problems that they're leaving, and the people that will still have to deal with it, will they really have peace wherever they are?
Okay. Okay. This will make me to ask this question. Pap and Elizabeth, have any of you had surgeries that you are given anesthesia and you are out for a period of time, then you come back? No. Okay, so you are not in a good position to
What
answer
happens
this question.
when you get that feeling? It's like you're not there anymore.
Um, I have had experience, right? So,
Okay, yeah, let's hear.
from what I will say is that once that anesthesia hits in, you are no longer there. You have no memory. Like from the moment that anesthesia starts working, you have no memory
To the moment you wake up.
to the moment you wake up. So you just wake up as if you just as if nothing passed on.
Yeah.
So, and that will bring me to ask this question: do you think that there is similarity between somebody being under anesthesia and dying?
I mean, not to this is bringing in another topic entirely, but this
Yeah.
is why some people actually chase a feeling,
Yeah.
maybe through the use of drugs or any other way, because they want to stay in a state of not remembering their issues, not remembering their problems, and they don't
Okay.
want to deal with it. So if you want to liken it to that anesthesia period, yeah, it feels good at that point not to remember anything and to be numb. But like I said, the problem does not disappear.
When you
It
wake
just does
up,
not exist
you're
at that
fine.
exactly.
For me,
So
so the only way I can compare it to is what we talked about earlier, camera, about when you sleep. In our belief, it's your soul. Part of your soul is actually taken away
Yes.
in your sleep. Right? When you wake up, it's back. So that's one of the reasons people would love to go out in their sleep because it's a smooth feeling. It's not as harsh as just a sudden death when you pass away in your sleep. Right?
So
That's what most people want to happen.
yes, yes. So I don't want to take it too deep, but I also want to ask, when you say somebody when you sleep and your spirit comes out and when you wake up it goes back.
Goes back.
When it comes out, where does it go to?
I don't know. I have no idea. That's where faith comes in because it's a bunch of ambiguity you don't know, it's a bunch of you don't knows, but you just believe. And when you die, you don't know where you're going.
Yeah.
You believe that this is what happens. This is what happens in your grave. This is what happens to the day of judgment. But nobody has ever come back to tell us if this is true or not. So that's to me. Like it's very simplistic for me. I might make the discussion boring because it's just faith. It's faith for me. It's just this is what happens when you sleep. This is what happens when you wake up. That's what happens when you die. And yeah.
So with all these things explained, do you think that we should be afraid of death? We should be afraid of dying?
I think not because it's gonna happen regardless. It's gonna happen anyway. Nobody's ever lived forever, so I guess embrace it and yeah, you shouldn't be afraid of that because
Yeah.
it's inevitable. So
yeah.
it's inevitable.
Elizabeth?
Yeah, I definitely agree with Pap. I am personally not scared of death. Does that mean one lives recklessly? No,
No.
but we should live with the awareness that this can happen at any time, whether planned with regards to having a terminal illness that that, oh my goodness, okay, or people, sometimes people sleep, they don't wake up. Car accidents happen, things happen. So just live in awareness that death can come. We're not promised the next breath, and live accordingly. Live a good life. I would say give your life to Jesus, but that's from my perspective. So
This is a beautiful life.
yeah,
Sitting with friends, we enjoy food,
Yes.
sleep, we enjoy getting together, sports, whatever. So the life is great.
Yeah.
I mean, it might not be great for other people, but it's great for most people. So it's gonna come to an end, but it's just like everything.
yeah. Yeah, I was just going to say, like he said, we live life, we enjoy life. Life is beautiful, and we just make the best out of it. I also want to encourage whoever might be going through one thing or the other, and they feel like, there's no end to this problem, like we've discussed. Problems don't end.
Yeah.
I think part of what we've been put on earth to do is to learn how to navigate each situation as they come at us and triumph and move on to the next. And it's also a way to show that, like, we have breath, we are living. There's a purpose for us being alive. So just an encouragement to just keep striving, keep moving on, and know that we're very resilient, even with more than anyone can know. So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Elizabeth. Even though Elizabeth is making it sound like we're about to leave,
No, it's just,
because I still have one other thing or question that I think is quite important that we will discuss.
okay.
Is about the idea of whether we were aware before we were conceived of where we were,
What?
you know, and if we were not aware or we had no memory of before we were conceived, how can we be sure of where we are going that we have memory to be judged? Anyone?
Wow, that's a big question. I
Um,
mean, before
Yeah.
you conceive, you don't have. I don't know the stages of conception, but it starts with an embryo and an egg, whatever. So you get your bones, start getting your muscles, your heart starts to beat, your brain, all that. So you're not a whole person yet.
You are, because we are against some beliefs are against abortion, that you are terminating life.
Yes.
So
but
if you are alive, let me ask you, Pap, do you remember when you were a month old?
no,
Okay, so that means you don't even know when you were in the womb, right?
yeah,
So can we relate this to the concept of death? That when we die, it looks as if we have no memory and everything have ended. No judgment, no heaven, no hell.
maybe. I mean, I don't know. I don't know because it's. We talked about it earlier when you die and then it's the end of it. You're just there. It's just like when you get anesthesia,
Mm-hmm.
you're just there. You just wake up like you just took a nap. You don't have any memories, any remembrance. So I think it depends on whatever a person believes, really. 'Cause,
You have not answered that question, but
my answer is when you die,
yes.
you will remember everything you did. You remember everything you went through.
How will you remember
You
it?
just it's faith. So it goes back to the concept of faith. You just we were told
Yeah.
in scriptures, we were told
Okay.
through religion that this is what happens, that's what happens. So that's the faith you have. That's the faith I have.
Okay.
So that's what
I'm
I
still
believe in.
seeking answers. Maybe I'll leave this for our audience to help up to complete his answers while we listen to Elizabeth.
for me, like you said prior to us starting, like I have
Yeah.
a worldview, I have my religious worldview. So everything I think about or see is through that lens. And even when it comes to conception and things like that, my belief is that nothing is a coincidence, nothing is a mistake. No one is born a mistake. So everything is planned and has a plan and purpose. So even from the moments, even though like the person itself doesn't have memories, we don't judge the quality of one's life through memories, because we have people who are in comas that don't have active memories going on right now. That doesn't mean their life is less valuable. So even when the baby is still going through that process of being formed, they are going through a life cycle, and it's not necessarily based on what they can or cannot remember. So even as one is dying, that's still life. And at the point of them dying and they're physically giving up and they're dead, through my worldview, through the Christian lens, that's still a life that is accountable. So nothing is lost in the sauce. Nothing just stops, and there's still accountability for that life afterwards. So, yeah.
Okay. I'm still Ibamban if it's to be said in Chinese, but I've not gotten the answer I'm looking for. But I appreciate your opinion of quality of life given, no matter whether the person have memory or not, but ensuring that there is quality of life, right?
Yeah, just knowing that there is value to
There is
that
value
life.
to life. Yeah. Okay. Just that I also want maybe audience to leave in the comment section what you think for the fact that we have no memory before we are given birth to. How does this relate to when we die? Are we going to have memories of what have happened here? Okay, and with that, I would like to hear from both of you, like your just piece of word to our audience on how how they should approach life from a nurse point of view.
I feel like I've said my where you said I already ended
Say it again.
I approach life on a daily basis. That's how I live. Like I said, I know for sure that we're not promised the next breath. So I try to live my life to the fullest, live it well, live it according to the principles I've been called to live, and know that the rest that I don't understand, there's a God who understands and who is in control, and everything is in his hands. And even when I'm presented with a problem, I know that there's resilience to go through that and, keep living life until he calls me home. So, yeah.
Thank you very much for that, Elizabeth. And Pap?
She's so wise, man.
A wise woman.
Yeah, wise woman. Yeah, live life to the fullest. This life is great. This is the only life you know. I always say, if I went to heaven right now, and I could just get anything I want, it would be this life. But all the good things happening and all the bad things not happening, because this is all we know. This is all our memories. So live life to the fullest. Like she said, deal with your problems on a daily basis. Spread love. Enjoy food. I love food. A good meal can take you places that you never think you go to. Spend life with your loved
Like
ones.
Senegalese jollof rice.
Senegalese jollof. It's called chebujen, not jollof.
Okay, chebujen.
I heard
Original jollof.
I heard y'all started it.
So, travel if you can, meet different people, learn different languages, sit down like we are sitting down and not talk, discuss, share your problems with your loved ones. Don't keep stuff to yourself. You know, you might think that it's going to be a relief if you just end it now,
Yeah.
but your problems will not end, and then they might be inherited by your family members, your loved ones. So, and you care about their lives too. So, enjoy life, man. Enjoy life until it's not here anymore.
Thank you. Thank you, Pap. Thank you to our wise man and our wise woman.
I wish.
All right, they have said it all, and we're bringing it to an end. I really appreciate their viewpoints into this concept of death, dying, valuing life, and how we should approach life. Actually, my own point of view is that forget about the fact I'm asking about death and dying. I'm just curious, but you should appreciate life, live life a day after day. Just make memories of what you have now, and always be prepared to die. You shouldn't be afraid to
Write
die.
the will.
And write a will according to write a will,
Write
because
a
you don't know
will.
when it will be.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right. And thank you. We can also take this
Well.
topic further, and kind of, because we did not discuss everything. I believe there is so much more to talk about, and we can take it on onto another level. And thank you, Elizabeth.
That
And
was a
thank you, Pap,
pleasure.
for joining us.
Welcome.
Yes.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.